All right, everyone, we are in day 3 of Algebra Bootcamp. We are going to be talking about rounding and evaluating today. So, especially in geometry this year, we're going to be doing a lot of rounding because we're going to get numbers. Our calculator is going to tell us that this is our answer. But I do not want you writing this on your paper as the answer. Rounding just means to kind of cut off numbers that we don't really care about because they're getting so small the further they get to the right. So there are some rules for rounding, but before we get to the rules, we have to the left of the decimal, we've got the ones place, then the tens place, then you'd have the hundredths place. But we care about what's to the right of the decimals, okay? So as we go to the right, the first is the tens place, then the hundredths, then the thousandths, and then we do have 10,000ths, 100,000ths, but we don't really care so much about those. These are the ones you need to be familiar with. So you are going to be asked to round to the tens place or to round to the hundredths. Okay, and so we need to make sure that we know what place that's talking about. So this is good vocab for us here. So when we are rounding, let's use 3.527. Okay, when we are rounding, first it will tell us which place we're rounding to. If we want to round to the tens place, we're going to look at the number after it. Okay, now here's the rule. If the number, I'm going to write the rule right here. Okay, if the number after it is 5 or bigger than 5, okay, so 6, 7, 8, or 9, then you get to round the number before it up, okay? If the number is less than 5, so 4, 3, 2, 1, then you keep it the same. Okay, so let's look at what I mean here. If I wanted to round to the nearest tens place, basically this 5, I'm going to look at the 2. Now 2 is less than 5, so this 5 is going to stay the same. Okay, so rounding, this is just 3.5. However, if I wanted to round to the hundredths place, okay, let's look at the number after it. This is a 7, which is greater than 5, which means I'm going to round this 2 up. So if I'm rounding to the hundredths place, then this is 3.53. I took that 2 and I rounded it up to a 3 because there is a 7 after it. Okay, so let's do a couple examples here. These are all rounding to the tens place, so we are wanting to look at all the numbers that come right after the decimal place. We're going to be looking at the numbers after it to tell us if we are rounding up or down. Okay? All right, first one. This 6 is bigger than 5, so we are going to round up. So our answer is 9,476 point, rounding up, 3. Okay, this next one, 384 point, let's see. The number after the 4 is greater than 5, so I'm going to round the 4 up to a 5. 0 point, all right, let's take a look here. The 9 comes after the 0, that is greater than 5, so I'm going to round that 0 up to a 1. 68308. Let's see, the number that comes after the tens place is a 2. That is smaller than 5, so I am going to keep the 6 the same. Okay, little side note, there is no rounding down. I would never change that 6 to a 5 just because a smaller number comes after it. Okay, and finally this is going to stay 9.3 because the number that comes after it is less than 5. Okay, the same rules are going to apply to the hundredths place, except this time you're just looking at a different number and the number that comes after it. Okay, so I want you to pause the video, go ahead and try these, and then I'm going to write down the answers that you can peek at once you've paused. So go ahead and pause. All right, so hopefully these are your answers. Let's talk about these two in particular. Okay, I was supposed to round to the nearest hundredths place, so why do I only have one number after the decimal? Well, let's take a look. Let's go back to the original here, 40.395. Okay, if I look at, there's a 5 that comes after the 9, what should we round the 9 up to? What comes after 9? Well, 10 comes after 9, but we can't put a 10 there. So really what happens is we take that extra point and give it to the 3, right? To make that 10, we're going to add 1 to the 3, and then we'll have a 0. So this is 40.40. Okay, same thing happened with the 11. Okay, we have 11.599. Well, the 9 would round up the 9, but again, what do we round 9 up to? It gets rounded up to a 10. We can't put a 10 in this spot, so we're going to give that 1 to the 5, so we really get 11.6. Okay, those are a little more rare, but they do still happen. Okay, I want you to go ahead and pause, and we're going to look at rounding to the thousandth place. So go ahead and pause, try these on your own, and then we can check our answers together. All right, here are our answers. Any answers that don't have 3 decimals afterwards, I guess there's really a 0 there. That's because, again, we had a 9 that we were rounding up. Okay, if we're rounding up a 9, really rounding up to a 10, you're giving the 1 to the left of it an extra point. And those are our answers. All right, let's go ahead and talk about evaluating real quick. Okay. This, when we are evaluating something, okay, it means that we're going to find the value of an expression. An expression is something without an equal sign, by substituting values for variables. Okay, a value is a number. So let's take a look. It says evaluate the following expressions when C is 4 and M is 2. Okay, that means what I can do is I can replace this C with a 4 and this M with a 2, okay? However, I don't just want to go, okay, that's a 4 now, and this is a 2 now. Okay, this is not what's happening, because the 3 and the C are being multiplied together. The 2 and the M are being multiplied together. That's why they're next to each other. So really, this 3 and this 4 should be multiplied. This is not 34. The 2 and the 2 is not 22. It's 2 times 2. So my rule for whenever I'm substituting a value in, replacing it from a variable, I like to put parentheses around it to make it super obvious that I've replaced a variable with a number. Okay, parentheses mean multiplying. So then it's super obvious to me or any other mathematician that looks at my work that I replaced a variable with a number and they should be multiplied. So 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 2 is 4. 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay? Same thing over here. We're replacing our C with 4, and we're replacing our M with 2. Okay, so we'll have 4 minus 5 times 2 is 10. Is going to give us negative 6. Okay? Same thing goes down here. Okay, you might even have an example where they're being multiplied to each other. 2 times negative 1 times 7, okay? Multiplication order doesn't matter, so this would be negative 14, okay? You might even have examples where you have to distribute the variable, okay? We're replacing R with a 2, S with a negative 1, okay? You could do this in 2 different ways. You could either multiply both these numbers by 2 because we're distributing, Or because these are both numbers in here, I can go ahead and subtract them from each other. So I have 2 times -9, which is -18. Okay? Go ahead, try the rest of these. You can check with your teacher if you want the answers on these, but otherwise that is all for day 3.